think of Nikki Haley? Did you ever consider her?
You know, what I got to say, you don't really want to put it on.
Let me hear it.
Well, a woman's not going to be a good president. She don't have no balls to scratch. She's just going to scratch her head. All a woman's good for in my book is having babies and taking care of the house, but that's the old thing, you know. But I'm old school.
So you never even considered her?
No.
Mainly because she's a woman?
Because she's female. I mean, females, don't take me wrong, females know what they're doing, but they still got to have a little bit of guidance. Trump would be the one to guide her.
Since this guy has Trump's balls on his mind, he can't imagine voting for a female. And even though he knows his ancient belief that women don't know how to leave the house without a male chaperone is now more widely rejected, he still knows the misogyny runs deep in MAGA world.
NBC just reported that Michelle Obama has said she will not run for president.
Thank God.
Okay.
Yes.
Ainsley said, I would love the reaction from a woman in the crowd. And
I wouldn't vote for a woman, and especially, you know, Nikki Haley, I'm just going to say this. She's probably menopausal. We don't need that.
Okay. She said, how about we vote for people regardless of their gender, just the right person for the job for America?
Yeah, and that's kind of, thanks so much, Will. That's kind of interesting because everyone speculated that she was going to run except her. She has never indicated she was going to run.
No. All right, there's a lot going on in this insane clip. First, that it's news that Michelle Obama isn't running for president, when in reality it's just a conclusion to the Republican conspiracy theory that she was ever planning on it. But even better is the look on Brian Kilmeade's face as he's somehow shocked at the astronomical amount of hatred that the party has reignited against women, forcing him to point out that she never said anything like that in the first place.
I wouldn't vote for a woman, and especially, you know, Nikki Haley, I'm just going to say this. She's probably menopausal. We don't need that.
Okay. She said, how about we vote for people regardless of their gender, just the right person for the job for America?
Yeah.
And the best part might be Will Cain trying to act like that hateful menopausal comment meant, how about we vote for people regardless of gender? That lady was probably yelling back there, that's not what I said, Will. It's not what I said. Someone else like Jesse Waters would have probably summarized her thoughts a lot more correctly.
So it was a female driver? Is that what happened?
I know.
I'm not saying
you're just asking facts.
Driver. I'm just asking because I want to know from the females at the table.
Who are no
when
longer
the female
talking to you.
driver was rescued by that heroic, strapping young man, do you think she has feelings for him now?
What did you say?
You heard me.
Romantic. That's the worst question I've ever heard in my life.
Do you think if you're dangling and this man has you like this around and he's saving your life, do you think you might develop feelings?
I think you're grateful, yes.
The producers are actually trying to save your job, so I've got to move on. Up next.
It's a standard belief system in the party. Women can't drive, and when a man comes to rescue this driver, she must fall in love with him because that's what the Disney movies taught me before they went woke. Yes, I know it's just written off as fun and games, and everyone jokes around, but when conservatives are serious about how much they think women are dispensable, the jokes are only there to make the hate palatable.
What I could tell you is, like, for every Karen we lose, there's a Julio and a Jamal ready to sign up for the MAGA movement, and that bodes well for our ability to be more diverse and to be more durable.
Representative Matt Gaetz found a way to insult and dismiss any women that want their voices heard and still somehow believe that they won't be second-class citizens with Republicans in power, while also generalizing and making caricatures out of the black and brown men that he thinks he's attracting. I mean, they have balls Republicans can imagine being scratched, too. It's a big tent party.
Let me address the Republican side of this because we're talking about the Democrats. I think the Republicans have to focus on something that they don't want to talk about. Trump trounces Haley. Haley trounces Biden. So if B is greater than C and A is greater than B, then A is greater than C. But we're not counting the future coalition of anti-Trumpers, especially when the media gets their weight behind them. You have to think that that's going to grow. So it's the only advice I would ever give to Trump, and that is to honestly take an inventory of the things that alienate people on the fence. And do less of that. I don't know what it is. You got the diehards, right? You got a huge millions and millions of diehards, but see what's pushing other people towards you and what's pushing people away, and figure out it might just be tiny little tweaks. For example, like the things that are pushing people toward him are the issues and policies of the Biden administration. So sit back and watch the chaos do the work for you. It speaks for itself. You may not have to add anything, and then play up the positivity of a new dawn, a new beginning, getting back to a country that is united. The actual message that Biden that lied to us. You provide the real thing. That's what I would think, because I think that that's something.
Even though they're comfortable with Trump's pledges of fascism, Greg Gutfeld cautiously gave advice to Trump because he sees how openly hateful he is towards so many groups of people and how much it's spread throughout the party. The fealty to Donald Trump, though, is so strong, he couldn't even attribute the potential opposition to him as his fault. He had to claim that the media will create these groups of people and craft their views against him. It's never based on something Trump has done, because the MAGA church places no gods above Donnie.
Can you tell me why so many people that support Donald Trump love conspiracy theories, including yourself? He seems to attract lots of conspiracy theorists.
Well, let me tell you, you're a conspiracy theorist, and the left and the media spreads more conspiracy theories. We like the truth. We like supporting our Constitution, our freedoms, and America first. So,
what about Jewish space lasers? Tell us about Jewish space lasers.
No, why don't you go talk about Jewish space lasers? And really, why don't you off? How about that?
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is MAGA's example of a suitable woman who's oddly not in the kitchen. She's not taking care of 8 kids or financially dependent on a husband to give her an allowance. She's just here holding on to hope that she can sit next to an authoritarian power figure and benefit from Trump's itchy, testicle-driven guidance.
What do you think the message should be to Nikki Haley tonight?
Well, we've been encouraging her to drop out and support President Trump. And I think tonight is the clear message that President Trump is the clear front runner. He's the winner in our Republican primary, and it's time for Nikki Haley to drop out and support him.
Do you think President Trump, Mr. Trump, is closer to picking his VP, and should you be on that list?
Oh, that's the question everyone asks. And no, I don't think Nikki Haley should be on the list. But of course, President Trump will choose who he wants for VP.
Would you like to be on that list?
He's got a long list. I support President Trump in any way he'd ask me, but I can assure you it won't be Nikki Haley.
Yes, that's the kind of woman MAGA wants. One that tears down other women that believe 98% of the things that she does, especially since Haley's stubborn decision to stay in an insurmountable race is bothering more and more MAGA conservatives.
Why on the debate stage did you say, I will support the nominee? And now it sounds like you're saying if it is Donald Trump, it doesn't mean you're a Democrat, it just means you don't support him.
I didn't waffle on that. What I said is that's not a decision I have to make today. The convention isn't until July. Mm-hmm. We've got 16 states voting today, and so we want those 16 states to vote. I don't have to go, but I haven't heard him pledge to me that he would support me if I won. So I don't know why I have to go and pledge to him that I would support him if I won. I think this is a matter of the fact that we're both in primary.
Yeah. Before you go,
I pledged that I would support the nominee when I was on the debate stage. But what I want to do, I get to do what I want to do, Ainsley. Right. I don't have to. If he refused to sign the pledge, I don't have to go forward. But I'll make that decision on my own. This is something where I'm focused on an election. When you're in the middle of a fight, you don't think about what you're going to do if you lose. You think about how you're going to fix things when you win. Right. And that's what I'm doing. And so as much as everybody wants to go and push me out, I'm not ready to get out yet. I'm still sitting there fighting for the people that want a voice.
Now, despite all this, there are still some prominent voices in the party that aren't afraid to call out the overwhelming push into the 1950s level of misogyny from the likes of pundits like Charlie Kirk. But again, just like Greg Gutfeld, it's never really Donald Trump's fault. He's only the infallible leader of the party, so of course, women still love him.
And the more radical, crazy things he says, the more famous he becomes. And to be honest, this is how bad things happen, is when one person thinks they have so much power. That's where this young guy who doesn't have life experience, business experience out there with the working people, starts to say things that get so bizarre. And he has a whole group of young people. But the problem is, it's not just him. He's making our party look like this is okay. And the donors who feed this make it look like we have a massive amount of support for racism, sexism, misogyny. Yes. Like that's okay. That's not okay.
We're out there, we're buying gas, we're taking the kids from place to place, we're buying the groceries, and we know how much everything costs, and we know the impact to our families. We know that life was better under Donald Trump. And you're going to hear Joe Biden talking a lot about, corporate greed and the blame game, and the Republicans won't let me do what I need to do. At the end of the day, mothers out there know what it's like to try to take care of their aging parents and their children at the same time, and how much it's costing them. And they know that's all on Joe Biden.